What's up guys, welcome to this exhalation. Quick question, did you guys know that the filter DAX function is actually a table function? Yes, instead of returning a single value, this function returns a table. So today I'm gonna teach you guys the basics of this powerful DAX function in Power BI. Let's get started. Today we have 4 different points for this tutorial. The first one, of course, we're going to learn about the filter DAX function. The second point here is about the syntax. The third point, we're going to learn about the main uses of this powerful DAX function. And finally, I have right here 3 practical cases. So guys, this is going to be fun and let's keep going. The filter DAX function. Okay, so here we have 2 different but important points. Filter is a DAX function that instead of returning a single value, returns a table. Okay, this is something that I just mentioned, right? The second point here is that this function is a function that filters the content of a table based on a logical condition. So guys, this is really important. Okay, so now let's go to the next point, the syntax. So the syntax is quite straightforward. Of course, we have right here the function, the DAX function, which is filter, and we have right here 2 parts. The first one is the table. The second one is the logical condition. The table, of course, this is the table to be scanned on a row by row basis. This is really important, guys. Row by row basis. The second point, this is the logical condition. Remember that we're having 3 different cases and we will be more familiar with this function after we go through those exercises. Okay, so now let's go to the next point, the main uses. So here we have 3 different important points. The first one, this function helps us to reduce the number of rows in iterations. The second use here, so we can use this function to nest filter in another filter function. This is very, very useful as well. And finally, filter is not used independently, but as a function that is embedded in other functions that require a table as an argument. Okay, so we usually use this filter function as part of a measure to get single values. Okay, and of course, as a rule, when there are nested calls, DAX evaluates the innermost function first and then evaluates the others up to the outermost function. Okay, so now let's go to the next point, practical cases. All right, so I know you guys have been waiting for this part, so let's do it. The first question here is to find a table which product claim is only TB, and we have, of course, right here a hint. Use the filter function. The second question here is to find a table which product claim is only PlayStation and city is Knoxville. So the hint here is to use a nested filter function. The third point right here, or the third practical case here, is to find the number of printers claimed in Phoenix. And the hint here is to use a nested filter function as part of a measure. And also we can use variables to make the DAX code cleaner and more readable. So, are you guys ready? Let's do this. Let's jump into Power BI Desktop. All right, so we are here in Power BI Desktop, and of course we already have our table. This is our table, it's called claims. Let's take a quick look at this table. Let's go to data here, and then here's our information, right? You guys might be familiar with this table because I've been using this data in my previous tutorials. So we have right here the product claim, and we have 4 different products. We have microwave, PlayStation, printer, and TV. We also have right here claim cost, right? And we also have right here city. So we have different cities here. Okay, so let's keep that in mind because we're gonna use this information to answer our questions, right? So now let's go back to report. If you guys remember, our first question was to find a table for TV only. So the product claim should be only TV. So let's do that. So what we're gonna do here is go to modeling, and then let's hit this option right here. It says new table. It's loading. All right, so let's expand this, and now let's rename this table. So let's call this table TV only, okay? And then equal here, I'll enter. It's right there. And then of course we want to use the filter function. Let's use filter right there. Let's select with tab, I'll enter. And of course the table that we want to call is our claims table. Claims table right there. Let's select with tab, comma, I'll enter. And right here, what's the condition? If you guys remember the condition, this should be product claim equal, because this is text, we want to use quotation marks. TB. I'll enter, close parentheses, boom. There you guys have it. And now, of course, we need to approve this change. And let's see what happens. So now, if you guys can see this area under fields, so here we have our first table, and here we have our new table, TV only. So if we want to go back to data, let's go back to data real quick, and let's select this new table, TV only. And let's make sure that this is working properly. Let's hide this, and we should expect right here just TV. Perfect. This is just for TV. So it's working. So now we just solved the first question. Let's go back to report. For the second question, if you guys remember, we need to find a table which product claim is PlayStation for the city of Knoxville. Okay, so we have right there 2 logical conditions. The first one is product claim just for PlayStation, and the second one is for city, right? This should be just Knoxville. So let's do that. And the hint was to use a nested filter function. So let's go to modeling again, right here, new table. Let's expand this, and right here, let's name this table PlayStation. I'll enter, and right here we want to use the filter function, right? Filter right there, I'll enter. So let's use filter here as well, and right here I'll enter. So right here we're going to use the first table, right? Claims, comma. So the first condition is for product claim. In this particular case, we want to use product claim equal to, let's remember that, PlayStation, right? Because this is text, we want to use quotation marks, PlayStation. I'll enter. Let's close parentheses. There it is. So if you guys are curious, this result, this is just a table, right? Because this is just for PlayStation. So, and this is the table that we're going to apply another filter, right? So, comma, I'll enter, tab. What's the next condition? So the next condition is that the city should be equal to, I'll enter, close parentheses, and we just finished with the first filter, right? So remember, this is just the table for the first filter, and this is the logical condition for the first filter. So that's how it works. All right, so now let's approve this change and let's see what happens. Boom. If you guys see on the right side of your computer, so you can see right here, PlayStation Knox. So this is the new table. So let's go back to data just to double check it, okay? And let's hide this if we want. And let's select right here this table, PlayStation Knox. There it is. Okay, so product claim, they should be just PlayStation. We have just one product, so this means that the filter is working properly. Let's cancel this, and then now let's check city. We should expect right here just Knoxville. Let's see. Perfect. We see right there just Knoxville. So the formula is working perfectly. Let's cancel this. Let's go back to report. We have just answered the first two questions. So now let's jump into the last question. The last question was, if you guys don't remember, so let's go back to the presentation real quick. So the third question is, find the number of printers claimed in Phoenix. Hint, use a nested filter function as part of the measure. And also let's use variables to make the DAX code cleaner and more readable. Perfect. So let's do that. Let's go back to Power BI Desktop. All right, let's do this. Because we want to find just one value, a single value, so we want to use a measure here, okay? Let's select the first table here, the original table claims, right click, new measure. And let's expand this real quick. And right here, we're gonna call this count printer, and this is just for Phoenix, right? Equal here, I'll enter, boom. So for this question, we have two different conditions, right? The product claim should be printer, and also the city should be Phoenix. So that's why we need to use a nested filter function. So let's do that. Filter right here. I'll enter. And of course, we need to apply another filter here. Okay, I'll enter. Tap right here. So the table, this is going to be the original table, the claims table. Comma, I'll enter. And the first filter here is the product claim, right? So the product claim should be just printer. I'll enter, close parentheses. So now we need to add the condition for this filter function, right? Because the result of this function right here, of the second filter function, this is a table, right? And this is the table for the first filter function right there. Comma right here, I'll enter. And right here, we need to use the second condition. The second condition is that the city should be Phoenix, right? Quotation marks, I'll enter, close parentheses. Boom, there it is. So we have applied two logical conditions, and also we have two filter functions there. Okay, so if you guys remember, we want to apply also variables to make the code more readable and cleaner. So how do we do that? If you guys are not familiar with variables, it's okay. So I'm going to share with you a link to a tutorial as well. All right, so for variables, we need to apply right here var, var, right? To start a variable, and then we need to name this variable. So how do we do that? So we're gonna call this variable printer Phoenix. Okay, so remember that the name of a variable doesn't have space. So we are good there. And then equal here, I'll enter, boom. We just finished our first variable. So now, if you guys remember, the second part of a variable is the word return. So let's use that. And of course, we want to use right here return. I'll enter, tab. So because we want to know the number of printers claimed in the city of Phoenix, so we want to use right here another function, count rows. Okay, so we want to do that, count rows right there. And then right here, we want to count the rows of this table, right? This table right here. Because this table has a name. What's the name? Printer Phoenix. We select that and then close parentheses, and that's it. And let's approve this. Boom. All right, so it seems like it's working. Let's double check that. So what we want to do here is select the measure. It's right there. Let's select right here a comma as a 1,000 separator, just to make this more readable. Okay. All right, so now let's drag this into the canvas area. And of course, we want to select right here a card. There it is. So we have right here 28 printers claimed in Phoenix. So that's how it works. So now, if we want to double check our work, what we can do is the following. So remember that we have right here 3 different tables. So what we want to do here is select the claims table. And then right here, we're going to select product claim. We're going to drag this into this area. Of course, we have right here 4 different products, right? And also, we have right here the claim cost. Let's drag claim cost right here. Boom, there it is. So now what we want to do here is to compare this result to the result that we have for this table, or the TB only table. So we're going to do basically the same. Product claim right here. It's right there. And then claim cost. Let's do that. There it is. So in this case, claim cost, let's select claim cost and then use this comma as a 1,000 separator. Just to make this more readable, right? Okay, so check this out. TV, $101,700. TV, $101,700. So guys, it's working. So now, if you want to compare this to the other table, so we're gonna do that as well. So PlayStation Knoxville, okay, product claim, it's right there, and then claim cost, right? So here, remember that we have only PlayStation and we only have for the city of Knoxville. And we can also apply right here a comma just to make this more readable, okay? All right. So we have right here PlayStation, claim cost, but this should be just for the city of Knoxville. All right, so what we're gonna do here is let's select the claims table again and let's add city here in the middle, right there. Okay, there it is. Okay, so we have PlayStation. This should be just for Knoxville. If we wanna do that as well here, we can do that. Check this out. And this is just for Knoxville, right? So let's select this table. And this should be just for Knoxville, right? Let's drag city here as well. right? Just to make sure that we have the same city. Okay, perfect. So here we have PlayStation, Knoxville. The cost that we have right here, the claim cost is 16,600. And right here for this new table, the table that we apply the filter function, we also have the same result, right? So PlayStation Knoxville claim cost 17,600, which is the same one right here. Perfect. So now if you want to learn the number of printers claimed in Phoenix, we can also double check that. So we have right here an Excel file. This is the Excel file. I'm going to share with you guys the Excel file as well. And let's remove any filter here. So product claim, let's add a filter, Control Shift and then L. You can add a filter to the table. And then we care about printer here. And also we only care about Phoenix, right? So we should have the same number of rows. Control Shift down arrow, let's select the whole column here. And guess what? We have 28 rows. And this is the same number that we have right here in Power BI. 28 rows right there. So this means that this is working perfectly. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial as much as I did. Remember that we saw the filter function, which is a table function, and we can also use this function as a nested function and also as part of a measure, right? So now let's go back to our presentation and see what else we have. That was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If so, please give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, and of course don't forget to subscribe because you don't want to miss anything. Thank you guys and see you in my next tutorial.